I love it, man. It's working. It's rubbing
I'm actually
off.
kind of proud of myself.
What else are you gonna say? You want to risk it?
No, going out on top.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should, and you probably are, and that's why we like you. This week, this episode 199, we are drinking Wilderness Trail single barrel. I'm not sorry. I guess it is a single barrel. Didn't even realize that until just now. And I know what I'm talking about for sure. Yeah, we're drinking single barrel straight rye from Wilderness Trail. Before I talk about that and add, facts like single barrelness, before I talk about any background to this bottle, before I talk about even how I'm feeling and Robby's feeling and stuff like that, let's talk about some business. Episode 199, we are, closing in on episode 200. We love the support we've been getting from you guys. But if you've been listening for a long time, we know there's a lot of listeners out there that have been listeners for a long time and haven't checked out our Patreon. We would love for you to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/chillfiltered. Grab yourself away, cop you away to support us. So, yeah.
Grab yourself away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But not in public.
No, and not that
you
way.
Look at patreon.com/chillfiltered at home in your own privacy.
Yeah.
And then
it's
grab
not
yourself
explicit
away.
rating like our podcast weirdly still is. And but that's when we can really support us. And we really mean it. We're getting there. We're getting to the point where we're able to continue to buy bottles with this, but we need your support. And that's all I'm gonna say. Not even gonna dig into it any more than that.
Okay.
Robby, it's episode 199, but besides that, how are you doing?
I can't believe we're going to be out of the hundreds. Like, I have loved the hundreds so much.
It's been a good hundreds.
It's been a great hundreds.
Mm-hmm. But only 100.
On to 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll be in our third 100.
That's true, because math is weird.
Yeah, math is weird.
I'm good, man. I tell you, these get home from work and get ready to record. It takes me a good 5 minutes to really just kind of decompress for a second.
Yeah.
No, it's been pretty good. Pretty decent week. We've had crazy weather here in Idaho. A lot of the West
snow this week.
Oh man, we had a ton. We've had snow every night for the last Saturday.
That's great. How much is out there?
None of it's sticking out of the mountains, but on Saturday alone, I think we got 29 inches in Bogus, which was as much as we got in February. But we need it. We got such little precipitation that I'm like, it's gonna be a smoky summer, I think, which sucks. And they're already talking about just short growing season for produce in the valley and stuff like that, which kind of stinks. Hopefully we get a little bit of that back this month. You really need good midwinter snow to get a good snowpack for the summer. But
Smoky Summer was the name of my meat smoking book that I wrote.
Oh yeah, Smoky Summer. And it's smoky dokey.
Dang it, you got a better book than I do.
So yeah, no, it was crazy. So last weekend it was fun though, because we got a bunch of snow Saturday and Chelsea had to work. So Amara, when she was little, she was always like, oh, what's a cloud feel like? What's a cloud feel like? I was like, well, we'll go touch a cloud. So we went, and she told the twins that, and the twins have all been just wanting to touch a cloud. And
nice.
So we drove up to Bogus, only part of the way, because it was so snowy and it's ski season's over, so they don't maintain that road much. So I was we're just gonna go halfway. So we touched a cloud.
Nice.
It was magical. Finley brought her Elsa doll, and Elsa didn't get snow stuck to her hair because she's magical. Is what Finley told me.
That's great.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. That was a good time. And then we went downtown and we went slow by slow for the first time in 2 years. Got a hot chocolate, and then we went to another park and had a coffee shop nearby. We gotta see which one's got the best hot chocolate. So we just sipping hot chocolate.
What was the other park? Camelback?
It's it's a new kind of complex park that's just northwest of downtown, a couple blocks, they got
so
this
like Camelback.
That's like a lot of blocks, Cole.
That's
it's got this really cool like sculpture tree that looks like it's a
Nice.
blossoming tree that has swings on it and stuff. And
Oh,
so
that's
we
fun.
just been playing.
Love
Having
it.
a good grand old time.
Nice.
It's been wonderful. Yeah, it's been a pretty chill week. Nothing too big. Nothing too small.
That's good.
I don't know what that means. How you been, bud? What's up? What's going on with you?
One thing, it feels like summer out here personally, but partly of that is because our air conditioning is malfunctioning.
Ooh.
And it's not like it was in Phoenix where it would get 100 degrees in the house, but right now it's like high 70s in the house. Last night we noticed that the AC wasn't working well. In fact, it was blowing hot air when we asked it to cool.
Did you ask it in a nice voice?
I asked, dude, you have no idea how nicely I asked this AC. I was like, please. No, so yeah, we called in the guy that we have gone to before for HVAC related things, and he is coming in tomorrow. Today we're recording on a Thursday, and he's coming in tomorrow and going to take care of it. Funny story, actually. Last time he came over, he configured the Nest thermostats, both upstairs and downstairs, and really nice guy, really solid dude. And for some reason, so like where I live is south of Richmond in a town called Chester. And the people sometimes you just never know who knows each other. Chester is a bigger town than where my wife grew up, which is a county called Prince George. And I talked to this guy as he was fixing our stuff. He's a very nice guy, so we just kind of talked it up. And I was like, I bet you he knows my in-laws. And so my in-laws are not like famous or anything, but like people just know them. Like people just, it's funny to see.
Local famous.
Yeah, local famous, but like mostly because my father-in-law owns a salvage yard out here. And you never know who's going to come through the salvage yard and work with them basically. And but also it's just a small town in Prince George. Anyway, we're talking. I have this feeling that he knows my in-laws. And anyway, he talked about my wife who grew up in Prince George, and she's like, yeah, I grew up in Prince George. And he's like, what are your in-laws' names? And I told him my in-laws' names, and he's like, yeah, I dated her in high school. But like a really nice guy, and like wasn't weird about it. Wasn't
dated
anything.
Heather or dated
your
mother-in-law?
My mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Oh, buddy.
And so the funny thing is that tomorrow is Good Friday, and the daycare isn't running tomorrow for Good Friday. And so Heather was either going to stay home, but her mom offered to stay home tomorrow before we knew that ex-boyfriend was gonna check out our house. So he's gonna come on by, and we're like, I don't know how that's gonna work. Like old ex-boyfriend, and apparently it wasn't a bad split or anything. It's just funny. Like it's a funny story. So and we did confirm with my mother-in-law. We're like, so do you know this guy, Mark? Blah blah blah. And she's like, yep, I know him. And we're like, did you date him? She's like, yep, I did. And it didn't sound like anything went bad. It was just, what you sometimes you don't want to like handle ex stuff too much, so yeah. Do I hear children?
Oh geez, 1 second. I got a chicken in here. Hey Judy, that's not okay. Look, I got a chicken, and she needed her chicken. Okay, next time you come in, you're in trouble. All right, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. We'll just go with it, and if you edit it out, we edit it out.
If we edit it out, we edit it out.
A little Jim, a little pearl for you.
Yeah, exactly. So life otherwise besides the AC, I have been.
Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I've been kind of bored at work. I've had some slow projects that I've been working on, which are like, I just wish I had a little more to do sometimes. But it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Like it's better than being like stressed out of my mind. Yeah, which is a big deal. Like it is truly better, but I don't like being bored of work. Yeah. And I don't like just like waiting for time to pass, basically. So
I like having a bored day, maybe like every 10% of the time, and being like, wow,
I actually am with
I didn't have to do too much. But like you need a couple days in a row. Yeah, like when we were last year, like doing hybrid schedule, like there was no behaviors, and I was like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah.
I just teach. I don't take care of de-escalation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was gonna say you're talking about parents dating people, and every once in a while, like Amara just pries and just asks the same question sometimes. She'll be like, "Mom, did you ever have boyfriends in high school?" And Chelsea would be like, "Yeah, I had a boyfriend." And I like to freak out. I'm like, "What? You never told me this? This changes everything."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's my go-to dad joke. And Amara's like, "Dad, shut up. You knew she had boyfriends." I'm like, "Then why did you ask? Because you knew she had boyfriends too."
You just wanted to rile me up.
Yeah.
I never dated before Heather, but Heather did, and she had plenty of boyfriends, and she was a heartbreaker. And it makes me feel pretty good because, like, she didn't break my heart. You know what I'm saying?
She did not. You're the one that never gets away.
I never get away because I control everything. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Master. You were there. No, you were not there. We weren't technically dating when I met you.
No,
and then then me and you started dating. No,
ready. You were ready to start dating her.
My finger was on the trigger. That's for sure.
Can I tell you something about our podcast that you maybe not know?
No, bring it on.
So we are a podcast for the whiskey lover out to prove that there's no ordinary whiskey. Mm-hmm. We are also the #1 whiskey talk show.
That's true.
Right. We're also now philanthropists. Are you aware of this?
No. Who are we supporting?
Oh, well, we supported the Bourbon Badger, Caleb Wilson's daughter, Zoe, and her school. Yeah, he had a little thing came up, and I was like, you know what? She's $20 from her goal. We'll put 20 on it, and I used the chill filtered Gmail, and you can write a little note like "Go Zoe" or something like that. And I said, "From your favorite podcast." So,
that's great.
We are philanthropists, so go Zoe.
Yeah, so like add that to our resume of like, big deals. Tall dudes that are in the 95th plus percentile of height.
Are we in the 95th?
No, I realized that 6'2" is 95th percentile. Which
will all be darned.
You know what else I learned today? So when I was a kid, I had to be about 10. I took an IQ test.
Everybody, like if you're older than 10, you had to be 10 at one point.
Yeah, I had to be about 10.
It's about for a year too.
Yeah, at one point it happened. Yeah, maybe 2 years I was 10, and I took an IQ test for some. I've told you, Robby, but I was in I had an IEP, and I
think you've mentioned this too with on the ADHD episode.
Yes,
ADHD whiskey episode, not just the episode we did on ADHD. We didn't do that.
And so they did like IQ stuff, and they gave me like an IQ score, and I was in the 95th percentile for like IQ, and IQ is like one of those things where like it depends on your age, I think. Yeah. So they say it shouldn't change too much throughout your life, but if it does, maybe it went up. Who knows? But I was in the 95th percentile there, and then I looked up recently.
The intelligence quotient.
Yeah, intelligence quotient. Oh, we quotient all right, and the quotient represents a divisor and a quotient. Totally. Anyway, and then I looked at my SAT scores from high school, and I realized I was 95th percentile there as well. So my life, in terms of the general population and stuff like that, 95th percentile kind of guy.
Is that going to be your next tattoo? Is a 95 something?
No, that's going to be my next nickname in high school. Is 95th percentile.
Mr. 95.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, maybe I will put a 95 on my chest or something like that.
For sure.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, philanthropy. Yeah. We're the 95th percentile in giving to awesome girls named Zoe, too.
I'm sure we're probably the most giving whiskey.
Yeah, #1.
Thing. I mean, never mind all the charities out there. Never mind that.
Not even Bourbon Charity or the Bourbon Charity.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Hey, are we ready to go to the beam cam and talk about what we're going to be drinking next day?
Yeah. So next segment, we are going to be drinking a Wilderness Trail single barrel proof rye, and that's a 110 proof. And but before we talk about that anymore, is there anything you want to talk about before we send it to break, Rob?
No, I am ready for breaking.
Let's send it to break. We'll be right back, and we'll drink and history and stuff. So here we go. All right, we're back. And I want to give 2 shout outs this week. One is a somber shout out, and one is a happy shout out. First, the somber. I wanted to give a shout out to Miles Ferguson, one of our favorite listeners. He lost his dad this past week.
Oh,
and I wish I had a little something to pour out for him, for our good homie, because that's a really hard time to go through. And I know, Robby, you've dealt with this yourself, and you know how hard it is. And so we just want to give a heartfelt shout out to Miles. We appreciate you. We're sorry to see what you're going through. We hope that mourning and grieving is a you're in process in a good way with that. So sorry to hear that. Second shout out to happy shout out to Marco and KC, who actually bought this bottle that we're drinking today. So
way to go, Marco.
Yeah.
Wait. Was the shout out just for something else or just the bottle?
Just the bottle. Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought there was gonna be something else coming. Like,
no.
Big shout out to Marco.
He's getting married.
I thought maybe
October.
he eloped, and you're like, hey. But no, not yet.
Not yet.
Just the bottle. I mean, the bottle's a great thing, but I thought there was more.
I don't know what's better, marriage or bottles. So anyway, so this is actually our second episode where we're featuring Wilderness Trail on the podcast. Episode 147. What is that? 52 episodes ago, just about a year ago, actually. We drank the single barrel bourbon. And so we'll talk a little bit about Wilderness Trail background. There might be a little overlap, but we're going to break it down here. So let's talk about the distillery itself. So located in Danville, Kentucky. And these are the guys who are known for their proprietary yeast strains. And I'll get into that. So it started in 2012 by 2 guys.
Proprietary.
Oh, it's super proprietary. At least it's not a proprietary aging. We've learned about that one before. Started, by 2 guys in 2012, Shane Baker and Pat Heist. Pat Heist had a background in fermentation from his doctorate degree in plant pathology from the University of Kentucky, and having started a business afterwards called Firm Solutions. If you can guess, Firm Solutions has to do with fermentation, and it basically offered multiple high-performance strains of yeast to distillers. And we have talked about this before, but yeast strains can have a massive impact on the final whiskey product. Just look at Four Roses and their multiple recipes. They have 5 yeast strains that they use, and very different products in each one. So these guys, when they started up Wilderness Trail, were well acquainted with how fermentation, let alone whiskey, worked. And so they decided that their first product they sold was going to be a bottled and bond bourbon. And if you remember from any bottled and bond requirements, the age requirement is a minimum of 4 years for bottled and bond.
I knew that in my head. I thought 4. I didn't say it.
Nice.
I thought I was wrong.
You're getting there.
Get Yamazaki 18 right.
Yeah. You got it right there.
Yeah.
It's
my day for numbers.
Yeah, it's a good number. I love it, man. It's working. It's rubbing off.
I'm actually kind of proud of myself.
What else are you gonna say? You want to risk it?
No. Going out on top.
That sounds good. So that's pretty cool. That their first product. So one of the things they also don't source. They are an in-house distiller. They took 4 years to really put out their first product. At least 4 years. And so that's something very respectable. But since then, they've grown immensely. They're quite the distiller these days in terms of output. And they're really proud of their mashing process, too. They call it their proprietary infusion mashing process. And they claim it doesn't overheat the grain so that it produces a softer palate experience. And from what I've tasted of their stuff, that actually does make sense. Usually their products I would definitely call it a softer palate experience. And so, yet full of flavor. Like I don't know if you remember the bourbon one that we did a year ago, but I remember it had like soft strawberry notes to it, and I really liked that about it.
You remember your notes?
Sometimes
I never remember them.
But all we need is in the moment. Anyway. It shows that even the mashing process of a whiskey has a big impact on the final product. And some people just like, just mashing it. You're just boiling water and taking all the sugar out. But anyway, they do have a few products. They have a small batch high rye bourbon. And then what we drank of theirs last time, their bottled and bond wheated bourbon. And there's also a silver label bourbon, which is a 6-year of either the rye or the high rye bourbon or the wheated bourbon. And then there's what we're drinking today, the rye option, which is at the moment always cask strength. Their ryes and apparently single barrel. And so their mash bill. Oh, we're going to talk about what we're drinking today. The Wilderness Trail single barrel proof rye. Yep. You see it right there. And so the mash bill is 56% rye, 33% corn, and 11% malted barley. They get their grains for everything they do in local Kentucky, or like some local Kentucky farm. And that is no different for what we're drinking today, of course, because everything they do is from local farms. They cut their distillate to a barrel entry proof for this one to either 100 or 105. I don't know why both, to be honest, but maybe it's just a cool method. And then they put it in number 4 charred oak barrels, and they age those on the top floors of the rick house. Aged a minimum of 4 years, even though it's not bottled in bond. They say minimum of 4, but they say the usual age we're seeing for this release is 6 to 8 years, depending on how it's tasting. Each batch is different, of course, in final proof because it is cask strength and single barrel. But this one we're drinking today is exactly 110 proof. Barrel number 15C1020. I believe that's a C. So that's what we're drinking today. Let's give it an old cork pop and let's get to drinking. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh,
that was nice.
Very nice.
Mama say alligators so angry because they. Why are alligators angry?
Their medulla oblongata is large or something like that.
No, but Mama say.
Mama say, yeah, I forget.
Mama say alligators so angry because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush to brush them with. I need to watch that movie.
Oh man. I only remember Adam Sandler being like, your medulla oblongata is like something. He's like, Mama said. And he's like, what does he say? I forget the other line, but he's like, or Kathy Bates, or yeah, that's her name, right? Yeah,
Catherine. Yeah, you know her better, isn't it? Yeah, Catherine.
We're tight, me and Catherine.
Yeah, well, either way.
Is it Catherine Bates? No,
KB as I call her. Yeah, so you're talking about KB.
KB. I just call her K. But she's like, Benjamin Franklin didn't invent electricity. I invented electricity. Benjamin Franklin's the devil. And that's what I got. Wait a second. Give me one moment. I don't know if that's a spider on my desk. Nope, it's not a spider.
Oh, man.
So man, I was worried.
Amara has really curly black hair.
Yeah.
And like you brush your hair, like a little bit will come out, and like they always look like spiders on the ground.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it freaks the twins out all the time. Spider! Like, that's just Mara's hair. Don't worry about it.
Mara's hair, yeah.
Yeah, man. I tell you, with all these girls in my house, there's just like hair everywhere. Every time I put a shirt on, I got a hair that like
is woven into it.
It's like woven into like my armpit area, and it'll like tickle down my back. It's like every time. Time.
Girl dad. Life.
Oh man. Speaking of which, yeah, I had to like unclog both the showers last week. Hair everywhere.
Ew. You got to get one of those mushroom johns.
Like a plunger thing?
No, there's like a thing you could just
that goes over the top.
Yeah,
we have one in the bathtub. Cool. Man.
That's good, but not in the
shower. All right, this smells like a sweet rye. Nice hard candy.
Yeah, I am getting that hard candy note. That's about all I'm getting though. So far,
like a little butterscotchy, tiny bit butterscotchy, and a faint oak.
Ooh, yeah, I can get a little bit of that oak for sure. Butterscotch is like tiny bit, but I'm with you, tiny bit for me at least.
Maybe, yeah. Because now I'm not getting the butterscotch as much as I was before, but like strawberries, there's like a sweetness there outside of like that kind of rye candy spice thing.
This is great. I forgot to mention the total wine price is $67, which is pretty good for a rye like this, especially a barrel proof rye. The only barrel proof ryes you can get in that range are like a Wild Turkey rare breed rye.
What was the price again? Sorry, I was
67. That's it.
67. Okay.
Yeah, for a cask strength 6 to 8 year rye, that's pretty good.
I tell you, it's delicious. I get
it melts in your mouth. This stuff.
Yeah. It does. It totally does. I get a slight bitterness on the like middle of the palate. But it's other than it just melts in. I'm gonna rinse my mouth out here a little bit.
Yeah, and I think like it is a weird note, melt in your mouth, but this is like that. It like falls apart in a really nice way. It like how candy melts in your mouth. It's like it isn't the same flavor throughout. Sometimes like it can develop in the flavor as it melts. This is kind of like that.
It's got a great mouthfeel though.
Yeah.
What is it?
And for a rye, it is kind of soft. Like, what was the word they used? Yeah, soft, right?
Yeah. It's not like a sharp spiciness.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a soft spiciness.
Soft spiciness.
And it's got a great mouthfeel. It's like super warming right away. You can tell it's a little bit higher in the proofage.
I would guess that this is not chill filtered. Hey, that's not the name of the podcast. No. Because it does have barrel particulates on the bottom, and for being a barrel proof, it's noticeable. Like there's a lot of black little dust on the bottom of this bottle.
All right, do the old drappy drop.
Really pleasant nose. I mean, really pleasant palate. Really pleasant finish too. I really like the candiness to this one. I'm curious how this is gonna get with water for sure. Like I'm intrigued.
You haven't done the water yet?
Not yet.
Definitely more vapory. A lot more vapor there. Still a good sweetness. I think that whatever sweetness it is, like a strawberry or a butterscotch, which is a weird.
I'm getting more butterscotch after I've kind of let it sit in my mouth for a little bit and like taken the finish. And you're right, the strawberry and butterscotch are there, and it's very pleasant.
It's weird, but it's a weird combination. But that's kind of vacillate between the two. I get one, and then I get the other and stuff. So I don't know.
You vacillate? Weird.
Well, you gotta stay hydrated. You gotta stay unchapped.
Both.
You know what chaps my hide?
What's that?
Vacillation.
That's for sure.
That's it. Yeah. Everything else.
I Vaseline between those two things.
Oh man. She don't use butter. No, she don't use or jelly. Any of these. She uses Vaseline. What song is that?
She don't use jelly, right?
She don't use jelly.
I think that's the name of the song.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yes.
Is that the Flaming Lips?
I don't know who sings it.
I think it's the Flaming Lips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's the only song I know by them. But I don't really know it that well. I just know the title.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I used to like that one a lot when I was a lad.
In the last week, you have listened to what is the name of that band? The one who sings Brandy.
I did.
You're a fine girl.
Such a fine girl.
Hey.
And honestly, and I texted you this, and I think you mentioned something else, but like I feel like your version of it was more recognizable than the actual song.
Thank you, sir.
Cole nailed it. And now this might be good. So falsetto wise, I got a little tricky with Instagram. I was like, I'm going to figure out how to share some responses.
I loved
and do
it.
Some things. Yeah,
I loved it.
But Bohemian Rhapsody was getting a lot of love. Yeah, multiple lovers. I mean, who wouldn't? Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, and to be honest, I thought
the thing I have against Bohemian Rhapsody is that like you'd expect that. Like it's like when people say, you know, like I don't know.
Hey, let's go grab a fast food burger. Okay, we're going to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't want to choose McDonald's, even though McDonald's can be great and potentially is one of the greatest I'm not saying that for McDonald's sake. I'm saying that for Bohemian Rhapsody's sake. But it's just sometimes overdone. You see him in every corner.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying John Hughes and whoever else voted for that you're, like a sellout or you just go with the cool, option.
I used to like Bohemian Rhapsody
more honest.
before it got cool. I used to like it a lot, and then I was like,
and then I was like, all these posers liking Bohemian Rhapsody. No, no, it's a great song and quality falsetto song.
It is.
What did Ben say?
Ben said, "The lion sleeps tonight." Maybe.
No, that was Marco and Casey. I want to say
Marco and Casey. I don't know.
I didn't recognize the song that Ben said, but it seemed like it was one of those songs that I might know the song without knowing the title.
I'd have to go look.
Yeah.
Did you add your water yet?
I did. And similar nose, a little sharper. But then the palate is 1 sec. Mm-hmm. It's not worse. I might even say it's better. It's got a really nice sweetness on the finish that wasn't there before. I'm curious about the ice pour now.
Yes,
what did you find out about Ben?
I got a Maserati, goes 185. So it's like that song. I don't think of that as being falsetto. And then you try to sing.
My license, now I can't drive.
Life's been good to me so far. And then I had a mouth. When I was a kid, I got a mouth harp.
Props.
And I would.
Yeah.
I would play that part of it. That's the only thing I would play on my mouth harp.
I love it.
All right.
What do you think of the palate with the water?
I didn't like it as much. I am getting a weird bitterness, and I don't know why. And I
you're back in the zone.
Yeah. Whoop. Where is the hole?
Clunk. All right, give the old spin, Jay.
But anyway, that is a deceptive song because you don't think it's really going to be that high until you start singing. And you're like, oh crap, life's been good to me.
Yeah, props to you, Ben. The more I know Ben, the more I like Ben. He was a great storyteller at Story Slam. Like he had great stories.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I still really, at some point, would like to do just a meetup, middle of the country.
Totally.
Everybody.
Why don't we do that for episode 300? Let's plan on that.
Let's put that. I hate making travel plans. You're saying we're going to do this, and my wife loves it. Chelsea would be like, "Oh, for my 40th, we're going to go to Spain." I'm like, "That's a lot of money." Well, like you're inviting people to go and telling people you're going to go. Like, hey, come with us. We're going to go to, and that gives me anxiety because I'm like, well, what if we have to back out because we got to buy a new air conditioner or something? Like,
I noticed we weren't invited to Spain
because you talked to me. I'm not inviting anybody to Spain. You just explained my anxiety of this. Nose kind of falls off, doesn't it? There's not much there.
Yeah, it's
maybe like a tobacco-y or the oak. No, it's oak. I get a lot of
there's something there. It's a sharp sweetness, but like a very short-lived sweetness. Like if that makes any sense. Like it's like sweet, but then gone.
That's how I like my girlfriends in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet and gone.
Sweet and gone. I had a nickname for a friend in high school. Her name I called her Sweet and Low because she was short, but she was nice.
She was nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make fun of short people.
I do because I'm in the 95th percentile. What up?
I know, Cole. I don't make fun of short people. It's beneath me.
Take that, short people. No, I'm kidding. We love you, short people.
When I was in elementary school, I always wanted to be short. I hated being tall. But I think that's kind of you hit phases in life where you don't want to be what you are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was always above average height. But I never knew I'd be 95th percentile. Although, no, here's the story. So at age 14, my shoe size was 14. So that kind of gave a little foreshadowing. Or should I say 14 shadowing? What up?
Not a fan of this with ice.
I don't like, I'm not getting bad notes, but I don't prefer it. Yeah.
No, it's I think it's got a weird it doesn't taste like a rye, like that hard candy kind of rye spice.
It does leave
not quite there. I'm getting a lot of oak.
Something there though.
Getting more.
Yeah, oak shows up more. I could drink this with ice. Like if it were a sunny, hot day where I'm working out in the lawn in the yard, I'd have ones I'd choose over this, but I wouldn't mind this. I'll tell you that with ice.
Okay. All right. I gotcha.
So keep in mind, one thing I'm going to keep in mind as I give my rating on this is that I gave Sazerac Rye a 9.0 last week. And I got to be consistent. This is better than Sazerac Rye, in my opinion. And for the price, isn't bad at all. Like a $67 cask strength rye that's 6 to 8 years. It's pretty special. I really appreciate the candy notes. I think it's good across all. Personally, I think it's good across all pours. I think it was best neat / water. They were very close, but I think maybe water took the cake. And I'm going to give this a 9.1. Okay. I think it's great. And so actually, Brian Rapp reached out today, I want to say, and he was like, I'm excited you guys are doing Wilderness Trail Rye because I think it's amazing. And I'm like, I'm with you, Brian. This is amazing. So 9.15.
So cool. Let me ask you. If I had a bottle of this and 3 bottles of baby Saz, you get to choose one.
How long do I have to drink them all?
Hey, I don't know. However long you want.
One night? No, I'm kidding.
95 days.
95 days. Okay. That's a hard one. Well, I don't want to play the rarity card because this is sometimes easier to find, or at least it was in Arizona, than Sazerac was. That's a hard one.
Because that's what you're looking at price-wise.
Yeah. 3 times. Yeah.
I think the correct answer is I'll take them both. I'll take them all.
Yes, you're right. And that's what I was about to say before you cut off. So.
Because I think it's one of those things where it's like, man, like Saz is really, it's delicious. Yeah. But this is different too. I think Saz doesn't always taste to me as much like a rye as because when I drink a rye, I usually want to have it like when it's getting colder outside, like it's a little more fall kind of thing. And this feels like I could drink this in the fall. This is like exactly kind of more along the lines of what I want out of a rye.
This is a different rye too. Like it's like even for a cask strength rye, it is softer in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah. No, it doesn't hit like a rare breed rye or anything like like that. So I'm gonna give this an 8.7. I like it a lot.
And it beats Sazerac, which you gave a 8 point what last week?
I just think you gave it a straight 8.
Okay, cool.
I think it was straight 8. Okay.
That sounds about right. Yeah. I love it.
No, I would prefer to drink this over Saz, but then again, then the budget comes into mind. I'm like, well,
totally.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it to anyone, for sure. I would say this is on a love it status for me, for sure. And potentially, I like to say, if you break a 9, you're a hubba to what? Most of the time, I would say this is hubba to what? Slightly hubba to what?
Yeah, but you kind of expected this to be good too, so. Had you not expected it to be good, it probably would have been
I didn't originally. Before I sipped it the first time, I was like, I haven't even barely heard of Wilderness Trail. And I was like, this is good.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right.
So, yeah, that's that. So I think I said that's that, Robby. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, let's send it over to one of our favorite, even though we often tout it as our favorite segment, but I don't think it is, but I think it is.
I think it's our least favorite.
Yeah, it's your least favorite.
I poo-poo it. I really enjoy the history because I learned something.
I enjoy the drinking segment.
I like the drinking segment a lot. Yeah. I like shooting the breeze.
Yeah, that's true. Even what whiskey would you choose is dope.
Yeah. But Whiskey World News is my absolute favorite because it's time for Whiskey World News. And we're back. It's part of the show that I lied. It's not my favorite, but it was a fun transition, wasn't it? Part of the show we call Whiskey World News. I read an article. Cole and I talk about it. We didn't write it. We just read it. Here we go. And it's been a while since we've had one from the Whiskey Wash, but this one is written by Gary Carter, and it's titled...
Sadly not Nino.
Kilgore.
We haven't had him in a while. We need to reach out to freaking Nino Kilgore Marchetti and have him on the podcast.
Nino, what's Nino? Does Nino mean... What's that mean in Spanish?
Nino stands for young boy, like boy. Or if it was Nino in Spanish.
Gotcha. Marchetti, though, that's Italian.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know.
Marchetti. Nino Marchetti.
Yeah.
That's...
Kilgore.
Anyway.
Go on.
Is it... Yeah, okay. Anyway, this one's titled Ardbeg Goes Ardcore with New Punk Rock Limited Edition. Ardbeg Day is held annually on the final Saturday of Islay Festival of Music and Malt.
Nice.
And generally, it's a celebration of all things Ardbeg. It's set for June 4th this year, online and at the Ardbeg Distillery. And to celebrate the upcoming events, Ardbeg launched a new punk rock expression, Ardcore, made from roasted black malt. In a statement from Ardbeg Distillery manager Colin Gordon, said Ardcore draws inspiration from Islay's little-known punk past, celebrating the characters of Punk Ellen, a nickname for Islay's main port, Port Ellen, in the 1970s. Nice. This year will be my first physical Ardbeg Day. We know not everybody can make it to Islay, so we're delighted to be broadcasting all the day's antics online too, Gordon said. Whether at the distillery or at home, we hope lots of you rock up. Hopefully, as you rock up, punked out, and ready to come party June 4th. Bill Lumpson, Ardbeg's head of distilling whiskey creation, said Ardcore was created with a roasted black malt, charred to new levels, and the spirit is all about substance. Notes of charcoal and sweet smoke make for an in-your-face nose, while potent notes of anise and dark chocolate stamp this bottle out as one fit only for the Ardcore of fans, he said. Ardcore will be available to buy from Ardbeg embassies, whiskey specialists, online retailers, and from the Distillery Visitor Center in the near future. Cole, any thoughts about
I got two thoughts. First thought. So it's, well, three thoughts, I guess. So the first thought, it sounds like they charred the actual grain. Is that what I heard?
Well, let me go back
and say blackened barley.
Give me your second thought while I look for
this. So second thought is, if you were to ask me, Cole, if you could visit any distillery in Islay, or even what's your favorite Islay whiskey or like distillery, I would say Ardbeg. And I love the crazy stuff they do with this kind of thing, like these special releases, something like Supernova or Scorched, even though we didn't like it. Like just these crazy experiments that they do are amazing. I am a huge fan of Ardbeg, let alone their experiments. I think they're doing amazing things. I would love to try their Ardcore, and I just love how light and fun and lighthearted they are with those kind of things, and they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah,
I love it.
But they put out some seriously good ones as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Supernova is like easily my favorite, probably my favorite Scotch that I've ever had, to be honest. And then
so it has created with roasted black malt.
I love that. Roasted malt. Like who would have thought of that? Like not only drying out the malt with peat in this case, but also like roasting it as well. I think that's great. Like, come on, you got to think of these crazy things. Like, I love it. But then my third thought is that one day, me and you, Robby, we got to hit up the Ardbeg Day or whatever they call it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It would be a fun trip.
That'll be our trip. When you turn 43, we'll go to
no, because you'll be turning 40 right about the time I turn 50.
So we'll do that.
Right? We're close because you just turned. Yeah. Because like we're 10 years apart.
I could see myself still doing this podcast in 10 years. Like it's
it's like
therapy.
The women in your family's hair.
Yeah.
It's interwoven into the fabric of my life.
Yep, that's true.
Mm-hmm. It tickles my armpitties.
Tickles my armpitties.
Mm-hmm. I don't have much to say other than what you said. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know
for you, Ardbeg.
Personally, I don't. When I think of punk, I don't think of drinking scotch. But that's just me.
You and Bryce Marita are punk guys. You know, you can appreciate, especially like you're not like an emo punk guy. You're like an original punk guy.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So can I tell you something that it's not punk, but it's
Bring it on.
Like early hardcore.
Yeah.
Mainstream hardcore-ish. So the Twins,
Gorilla Biscuits.
Whenever I got to get out a little bit of their energy inside the house, I will play Cotton and Mosh by. Oh my goodness! I just ruined it. Cotton and Mosh by Brooklyn, New York band.
Gorilla Biscuits.
No, it's anyway.
They were a Brooklyn, New York band, right? Am I wrong?
Gorilla Biscuits is New Jersey, I believe. Yeah. And anyway,
but that scene, apparently the East Coast like hardcore punk scene was like all over that, like New Jersey,
Anthrax,
Brooklyn.
It's by Anthrax.
Oh, Anthrax.
So Cotton and Mosh by Anthrax. So the other day I was in the kitchen just like getting dinner ready, and Junie goes, "Lexa, play Cotton and Mosh by Anthrax."
Nice.
And so when they play that, and then we just like start like stomping around the table, and then it gets faster and faster, and we just start chasing each other, and it's great.
Love it.
It's great.
So my experience with punk is not your experience with punk. Like my punk is more along the lines of emo punk, less hardcore punk. And I can very much appreciate the punk that I do. I need to get more, like maybe you can give me, I listened to that band from Dinosaur Jr.
Did you like that song?
I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got the little pop at the beginning.
Yes, that's right.
Like your bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Jay Mascis is brilliant. Yeah, no. I will send you some stuff.
Send me some stuff. I'll send you some
I can't. When are we going to do some Maker's Mark? Have we ever done Maker's Mark?
We have like 4 Maker's Marks on the docket. We need to just choose one. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think this is a good time to go into our next segment because it's all gonna come together here.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to what whiskey would you choose?
Yeah.
And last week we asked, what whiskey did you first discover cherry notes, or made you realize like, wow, there can be cherry in whiskey? Yeah. Cole went with Stag Junior, and I think it was like batch 13.
I think my first batch was batch 5 or 6.
5. Okay. And I just went with Baby Sabs because I don't do things like Cole. I don't remember things. And that's just what we had that day. And I got a little bit of cherry. So that's what I said. Cole won 76 to 24%.
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference. Cole's been the big winner lately. Look at Cole go. Mr. 95.
Winner. Chicken dinner.
Had some good write-ins.
Mr.
Marco
95.
Says, his palate stinks, but he's lucky to find anything on tasting notes. Either I like whiskey or I don't. And I get that.
Wait, who said that?
Marco and Casey says his palate's awful. He either likes it or he doesn't.
Yeah.
Joel M09 went with Wild Turkey 101, new and old, but particularly a bottle that I had that was bottled in 2002.
I'm a big fan of Joel Bradbury.
I am a big fan of all of our listeners.
Yeah. Everyone who chimes in,
it delights me. Yeah. Sometimes we don't have anybody that I'm like, please chime out.
Yeah, chime yourself out real quick. No, none of them.
I'll chime yourself in.
Keep chiming.
Miles Ferguson, Kilted 5118 says Michter's small batch.
Nice. Good choice.
And then Fish and Sips.
Sean Ciaro.
Yep. Maker's Mark cast strength, heavy on cherry Coke note.
Nice.
Old Forester 1920 for a medicinal cherry.
Yeah.
2 different cherries. Look at this.
Very good point,
connoisseur.
Sean, there are 2 different cherries in whiskey.
Perfect. Well, 3. Like I think the cherry Coke one is.
That's true.
Also, yeah. And then Bryce Marita said Jim Beam Red Stag.
Well played, Bryce Marita.
Oh man. And then Brian Rappert with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So I realized when we recorded that I just listened to ADHD Whiskey, like one of his early episodes where he compared like a Stag Junior with some Jack Daniels or something other. He's like, oh, it's like cherry Coke. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I thought. So you already had, that was the one I was thinking of. Like,
you would have won with that. Stag Junior versus Stag Senior. No.
So anyway, that was that. This week's, here we go. Here's the question.
Let's bring it on.
You're going to go to the punk rock show.
Yeah.
What whiskey are you drinking to go to the punk rock show?
Am I going to the Blink 182 punk rock show?
Yeah, it's up to
the
you.
Girl from the punk rock show? Or for the
there's a
rock show?
lot. There's a lot of
that's a
different
great question,
genres
actually.
And types of bands in the punk scene.
I'm gonna pretend I'm bringing my punk rock girl, or should I say my punk rock princess? Shout out to not Something Corporate. It's the other band that he did. I think it was Something Corporate. You know the Andrew McMahon guy? You ever heard Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness or whatever?
It doesn't ring a bell, no.
He has like 3 bands. One's that, one's Something Corporate, and the other one is Jack's Mannequin. And I think it was actually Something Corporate that he did, Punk Rock Princess. But I'm going to bring my Punk Rock Princess to this thing, and I'm going to bring something that she likes, which is going to be I'm going to bring Wilderness Trail Bottled and Bond bourbon because it is soft. It is agreeable, and it's weeded, and my wife likes weeded stuff.
Everything about punk rock. Soft.
Yep. My wife's everything about punk rock. So
that's soft. What else?
Agreeable. Soft, weeded, and agreeable.
Like so punk rock, Cole.
That's funny.
Well, you're bringing your punk rock princess. I'm bringing Sheena. And I'm going to lean on Sheena.
Yes, that's a great answer, man.
Okay, and so lean on Sheena by
Sheena. What Sheena is?
This is different.
Oh, you're thinking of a different Sheena?
This is it. This is by the Bouncing Souls. You're
not talking about the who sings
Sheena? The punk.
Blitzkrieg Bop guys.
Yeah, Ramones.
Yeah, they're punk.
Yeah. I sing that song a lot to Junie. I'm like, Junie's a punk. Yeah.
Wait, anyway, is a punk rock like Sheena is a punk rocker, or this other song you're talking about?
I'm talking about another song, "Lean on Sheena" by the Bouncing Souls, and it's amazing. All my daughters love it, and I wouldn't add it to the Deadballs list because I don't think the ladies like it as much. I know Chelsea doesn't.
Women,
but there's a lyric that says, "Better yet, don't forget, leave your keys on the TV set, hoping you're gone for the corner bar. Here we are after dark, knocking back the
whiskey
maker's mark.
Nice,
scrounging up dollars for my buddy's car.
I like that.
Lean on Sheena. She leans on me a lot.
Do you think there's a coincidence that there are 2 like notable punk songs that mention Sheena?
Could be.
You know who covers the Ramones song really well, and I'm just a huge fan of this other band, but the Yeah Yeahs covered Sheena as a punk rocker, and it is just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sheena is a punk rocker. Sheena is a punk rocker. I'm losing a little. There's like something stuck in my throat.
Yeah, your falsetto's on last week. Can't get so high today.
Yeah.
So anyway, what are you drinking again? You're drinking Wilderness Trail.
Bottled and Bond.
And I'm up after dark, knocking back the maker's mark.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I hope you win.
I hope I do too. I'm down a lot. You're killing me lately. Yeah, you've been doing it well.
Next week, we're not going to put it up to a vote. We are drinking Monticello, Bottled and Bond. I forget what the other qualifier was, but it's literally was bottled over 100 years ago, which is insane. Like, we're going to be drinking a bottle that was aged or that was put in a barrel in 1902.
Your eyes got huge saying that.
1902. That's crazy. And it was aged 15 years, and it's a Bottled and Bond whiskey. It's not a bourbon. It's not a rye. It's a whiskey from Monticello Distillery. And we'll get into the history of that. There's not much because I couldn't find much thus far.
They didn't put much
as much as I can find, I will get for you guys. But we are going to be drinking a 100-plus-year-old whiskey next week for our 200th episode.
200. That is crazy.
It is crazy.
It really is.
It's darn crazy.
You're darn tootin'.
Darn toots.
Oh man.
What are you eating for dinner tonight?
I don't know. Chelsea's out at got a dinner with work, and I'm probably just I'm thinking just whatever the kids want to eat. Maybe some chicken nuggies and some quesadillas.
Chicken nuggies.
I got what are you eating for dinner
with my name.
Are you just trying to stall? Are you stalling on me here?
No, why would I stall? I mean, like we're actually we're at a good point. Like I like it when we're right around 55 to 105, so we're doing okay.
Well, what are you now? You got me curious though. What are you eating for dinner?
Frozen pizza. It's got my name on it. Yeah. So listeners, I felt like this was a great episode. Lots of fun inside jokes and such like that. Not that that's what we all need, you know. Sometimes we need some just variety in all the other ways. But listeners, I hope you had as good a time as I did tonight.
Cole,
today.
I hope that Whiskey Guy can bear with our meandering. And Cole, I hope that your pizza tastes delicious.
I know it will because it's got my name on it. But most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of spirits lifted yours. And whiskey